If you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you. That was Lyndon B. Johnson 65 years ago. And historically speaking, his Johnson should always be capitalized when writing. He said this 65 years ago. It has been the core of the Republican Party before and since then. And it will continue to be into the future. And if you're unlucky enough to be on Facebook to see filth like this, James Harris, happy Juneteenth, Republicans freeing the Democrats slaves day. So this Chud, like every Chud, gets their news, gets their history from memes, gets everything they know from little pictures on the internet. Maybe this guy knows better. I don't know. But LBJ flipped the parties when the Democrats passed the Civil Rights Act. Richard Nixon moved in with the Southern strategy to scoop up the Dixiecrats and flip the parties to how they are to this day, right? But when Facebook is your news source, you can fly that Confederate flag on the back of your pickup truck and still post slop like this. But let's get back to that LBJ quote, right? And let's see how it echoes into this current presidency, into this current era of republicanism. A couple weeks ago on Juneteenth, President Trump took to Truth Social and posted this gem right here. Too many non-working holidays in America, right? We got the lowest days off out of any country in the world, but it's too many. I wonder why he's posting it on Juneteenth.
Oh, look at my African American over here.
It is costing our country billions of dollars to keep all these businesses closed. Sure, we send Israel $5 billion a year, but you getting a day off is what's really hurting this country. The workers don't want it either. They don't. Soon we'll end up having a holiday for every once working day of the year. It must change if we are going to make America great again. This is from the same exact party. I wonder why they're doing it about Juneteenth. This is from the exact same party that created the Black welfare queen.
If only our complex welfare system will allow them greater freedom.
Freedom to starve in the richest country in the world for the Christians, that's top priority, as Jesus always said.
Lazy welfare queens need to get off the government and trickle down was given to him by God.
Right? Trickle down comes from God. Works every time. That's what you believe. If you're a Republican, if you're a Christian, if you are in the cult. But looking at what today's episode is about, slavery 2.0, sponsored by Palantir, right? In a way, Trump's post lives up to the name. Credit given where credit is due. It lives up to the name Truth Social. It encapsulates 65 years of Republican, of GOP policy from Reagan back there. It encapsulates it in one nice, neat package. Trump and the Republicans genuinely believe, actually, you know what? They know that your average white worker, your average Chud, would rather, I don't know, stack shelves at Walmart than have a paid holiday commemorating Black history. You know, the MAGA movement has successfully convinced, as LBJ said, the lowest white man, he's better than the best Black man. And whether it's through your 401k, your retirement, the elimination of your health care, or maybe you're just a Chud that buys all the tacky sneakers and everything else the president's selling you. No matter which way, they're robbing you blind. I'm not reading that wall of text. Instead, let's just roll the opening to the show.
Trump is the new Adolf.
Welcome to the Chud Report. I'm your host, MJ, and if you've been here a while, you might know that we've talked about techno-feudalism on this channel more than a couple times. I mean, there's a whole episode about it if you want to watch it after this one. And nobody, even the Chuds that stumbled in there, even the Chuds that stumbled into the comment section, they didn't really argue that libertarians' endgame, especially the Silicon Valley variety, is neo-feudalism. A world where tech lords control your daily existence. Food, water, healthcare, ultimately your life. And now let's talk about someone that actually wants to protect your privacy. Stop leaving yourself vulnerable to data breaches and brokers. Go to my sponsor today, right here, Aura. Type this in or use the QR code, as the kids do, to get a 14-day free trial and see if any of your data has been exposed. 16 billion. That's billion with a B. 16 billion passwords have been hacked from Apple, from Google, and from Facebook. I'm guessing you have one of those. Put that number into perspective. That's 2 stolen accounts for every single human on Earth, right? And we're not talking about some old database in your closet from 2012. I have plenty of those. This is current stuff harvested by malware that could be running on your computer right now as you watch this video. So if you want someone to watch your back, if you want someone who cares about your data, you need to go to my sponsor, Aura. Go there today. 14 free days. Aura monitors the dark web 24/7. That's the exact criminal marketplaces where your stolen passwords are being sold right now. And when they find it, they alert me immediately when they find any of my info on there. When someone tries to open a credit card or a bank account in my name, Aura notifies me immediately. I know this because it's happened. From outright malicious attacks to constant scam calls, Aura has never been more critical. I don't get scam calls anymore. Aura will even hunt down these data brokers who are grabbing your hacked information and selling it. Aura files opt-out requests for you. Right here, slashing off these scams before they even get started. And listen to this, with 16 billion hacked passwords out there, Aura is so confident that they can protect you, they will give you $5 million. That's $5 million in insurance money if the worst happens. And getting $5 million after you've been hacked is not the worst thing that could happen. Give Aura just a couple weeks and you'll stop seeing your info plastered all over these sketchy sites, which means less spam, less risk, more peace of mind. You can go to my link right here, Aura.com, the Chud Report. Make sure you put in the Chud Report so they know I sent you. To try 14 days for free. No money. That will be enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data is exposed. And now let's get back to the people who are leaking and selling your data. And I am not about to read Stephen Miller's senior thesis right here, right? I'm not reading that wall of text. The prose, how do I know Trump didn't write it? Because the prose is far too coherent to be Trump. So it's either Chat GPT or it's Chat GP Gestapo. Makes more sense if you see it spelled out like that. It's a better joke in writing than it is saying out loud. But the key is, this isn't some idle proclamation, this right here. It's a feudal style call to arms.
You work or be banished.
The future is now, but the future was also the past. It's basically a lord telling his private enforcers, who are they? ICE, Border Patrol, the Proud Boys, anybody wearing one of these masks and a vest in this day and age. It's basically telling them to go forth and conquer democratic power centers, to deport or detain the undesirable workers. There's 2 types of people. There's 2 types of immigrants they're talking about here. He wants to get rid of the undesirable workers and to secure them in the realm. It sounds like something that would fall out of a medieval lord's mouth, right? By my word. How did medieval lords talk? By my word. Not like that. They shall leave my land or face banishment. And I hate talking like that because, you know, I sound like one of these neckbeard incels when they start doing their milady talk. And so where we are today, the people Stephen Miller whispers to, this rabid MAGA base who wants, you know, above everything else, every undocumented immigrant gone. On top of that, why am I saying undocumented? Let's be real. They want anyone a shade darker than Stephen Miller's ballsack to be deported. They're itching for a big purge. They fantasized about it in their little heads for years. Round up and ship all the people who pick their food. This is how far into the future these Chuds think, right? Let's get rid of everyone who picks our food, cleans our toilets, keeps their hotels, cleans the hotels, the people that even care for their kids. This is how short-sighted racism makes these people. And in their mind, in their fantasy, once only white people are left in this country, they'll take on these jobs. What they don't understand is it's Spider-Man pointing gif. If you get rid of all them, Peter Till's not going to be washing your toilet, Scooter. You're going to be washing their toilets. And that's exactly why Trump is doing this. It's exactly why he ran out to say, no, not these people. He wants the donors to feel safe, the wealthy farm owners, the meatpacking CEOs. Not you, Peter Thiel, actual meatpacking CEOs. Hotel magnates, bankrolling his campaign. He doesn't want to upset that money. The guy who's made almost $3 billion since he became president the second time. Can you spell corruption? I bet the Chuds can't spell it. Their businesses literally cannot survive without immigrant labor. And that's not a guess, it's a fact. An estimated 42% of U.S. crop farm workers are undocumented. If you have a brain, I want you to think about that for 2 seconds. Nearly half of the people picking your fruits, your vegetables. Let's be honest, most of the Chuds aren't eating fruit or vegetables. Most of the people raising that hamburger you're eating at McDonald's right now. That's who you're going to be getting rid of. Deport them all tomorrow and Iowa's cornfields will look like The Last of Us.
I'm going to be a dad.
No, you're not going to be a dad. Now get out there and pick that corn. So we arrive here with the tech oligarch bros. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, the guy who's put this all into writing, Curtis Yarvin. A pretty cool looking guy right here, right? We arrive here to a modern day. America's about to get an update. An update they haven't had since 1860. An updated version of slavery. Slavery 2.0. Elon Musk was so mad Trump was taking away his serfdom. He told us all that Trump was actually a pedo on Epstein's list. Does anyone remember that? It was only like 3 weeks ago. I think every Chud had their brain scanned like Men in Black to forget that. And speaking of Men in Black, this is so pervasive to people. My black gay friend, that's right, a black gay friend, pushes this because he's obsessed with Elon Musk. He thinks he's going to be him one day. That's a guy who's never able to have kids as long as he keeps being gay. Telling me and my wife we need to have 8 kids to keep the society alive. And on top of it, he's black. So he's playing into this system of you need more kids so I can churn them out in my fields. And I don't want to get ahead of myself or off topic. So right now, the system is in place for immigrants. It's feudal. Not futile, feudal. Well, maybe futile and feudal. Some immigrants will be allowed to exist in a state of perpetual servitude to their employee, right? While others will be treated as invaders to be expelled on sight. And what is this set up? What am I talking about here? Neo-feudalism. Trump and the oligarchs are just using the old slavery system, right? A few people are protected, a few protected serfs. And how do they stay protected? How do they not become targets and get sent away? It all depends on their attitudes towards abusive working hours, abusive working conditions, a non-livable wage, and no avenue to report it to anybody, because if they report it, think about the system right here. If they report any abuses, they get deported.
You want $5 an hour? Maybe you want to call to ICE instead?
And that's exactly what it would be. And we have, there's a model for this. There's a thing they're operating off. It was from the before time. Back when old man Biden was president. Back in that horrible time, as the Chuds remember, when they had to pay $7 that 1 week for eggs. Now, this day and age, starting new wars in the Middle East, Marines on the streets of Los Angeles, it's such a better time. But back in the before time, there was a model.
24 people have been indicted after the feds busted what they call a modern-day slavery ring as part of a years-long investigation called Operation Blooming Onion. At least 100 immigrant workers were freed from conditions in which 2 people died. Another was repeatedly raped, and others were kidnapped and threatened with death.
That is the blueprint. Operation Blooming Onion. And it's not the thing I say when I go into an Outback Steakhouse and I'm ordering from the lady. What a delicious name to pick for such a terrible thing. The largest human trafficking case in U.S. history. 24 defendants trafficking Mexican workers on Georgia farms in conditions federal prosecutors called modern-day slavery. And don't be surprised when Trump pardons all the farm owners involved with this, because that's definitely coming down the line. Workers lived in fence compounds with electric wire, had passports confiscated, were charged $3,500 in recruitment fees, and lived in trailers with raw sewage. 2 workers died. Yeah, this wasn't an aberration. This was a $200 million business model that you're soon going to see pop up everywhere. $200 million. That's more money than most of us will see in our lifetimes, right? And it was built on keeping human beings in literal cages. But here's the beautiful part. Beautiful is not the right word for this. Here's the terrible part. Half this country is convinced that these people are destroying America. These people that the white farm owners, the white slave owners were keeping in cages with their passports confiscated. You want to complain about it? We'll send you to El Salvador. This is the future. Elon Musk screams, "We need more babies," and the idiots cheer. Curtis Yarvin, this guy right here, who Peter Thiel calls the political philosopher. If some of you watched the episode on accelerationism from last year, you know about this guy. Honestly, call this guy a political philosopher is kind of like calling Jeffrey Dahmer your nutrition consultant, but it's par for the course for old Peter Thiel. Yarvin wants to bring the monarchy back. Not metaphorical monarchy. He actually says, let's have kings again. Kings, feudalism. You see what I'm saying? This is who they all listen to. J.D. Vance, this is his guru.
Aside from elections, how do we rip out this leadership class? So these institutions are corrupted and rotted to the core. This elite ideology is everywhere and in all the things. What other options do we have besides voting them out, which we're seeing is ineffectual?
Yeah, so again, this is like a tough question, but this is maybe the question that confronts us right now. You know, there's this guy, Curtis Yarvin.
This guy is the exact reason they're retiring all government employees, right? It's why they're replacing democracy, because they want what he calls an accountable monarchy. Accountable to who? Accountable to them. And when a tech billionaire's favorite political philosopher is arguing for the divine right of kings to be bestowed on the tech bros, maybe, just maybe, we should start asking what kind of kingdom they are trying to build. And the answer of why is obvious. Once they make themselves the kings, where does that leave the rest of us? It leaves us fighting over who gets to be the least exploited. Give the poorest white man a reason to look down on the best black man, and you can pick his pocket. Peter Thiel's Palantir. You may recognize them from sponsoring a military parade. That's not forbearing at all, right? I don't know. I couldn't make it through the Lord of the Rings. I know. I fell asleep during the first one, and my wife kept getting mad during the second one when Gandalf was captured, and I kept asking where he's pooping. She said, let's just turn it off. But I'm told Palantir is from the Lord of the Rings, and it's, It's an evil something. It's the evil Sing Stones. Naming your company some evil nerd right? You might as well name it Lucifer's red throbbing cock, because what does Palantir do? They provide the surveillance systems that ICE uses to track down immigrants. All right? And at this point in the episode, we could quit saying immigrants. Palantir is going to provide the surveillance system that ICE uses to track down escaped slaves. So while in Joe Biden's term, Operation Blooming Onion still sounds delicious, while that will be shut down, while those people will be going to prison, during Trump's term, Operation Blooming Onion will be used as the blueprint. And if you think I'm exaggerated, here's how it started rolling out. On June 12th, Trump floated a little trial balloon on social media. In essence, he admitted that our great farmers and people in the hotel and leisure businesses were complaining that his very aggressive policy on immigration is taking very good, long-time workers, very good, right? In this context, the good slave from history. You can look that up. Long-time workers away from them, with those jobs being almost impossible to replace. Then he hinted, changes are coming. Translation from dog whistle, oops, maybe deporting all the brown people is bad for business. Maybe we can put them in a perpetual state of having to work or being sent to third world prisons.
Peter?
Thank you, President Trump. I have two. First, on immigration. What made you change your mind about targeting in California farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business?
Well, we're not targeting. In fact, if you look today, I put out a statement today about farmers. Our farmers are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that. We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. And you know what's going to happen and what is happening? They get rid of some of the people because, you go into a farm and you look and people they've been there for 20, 25 years and they've worked great and the owner of the farm loves them and everything else. And then you're supposed to throw them out. And you know what happens? They end up hiring the people, the criminals that have come in, the murderers from prisons and everything else. So we're going to have an order on that pretty soon, I think. We can't do that to our farmers and leisure too. Hotels.
Leisure.
We're going to have to use a lot of common sense on that.
He talks about the farmers' love for their slave. The slave owners love their slave. This was propaganda way back during slavery. This is how they would always talk about it. The benevolent farmer was taking care of these savages and letting them work for him, right? He doesn't talk about babies being ripped from their moms or the love about that. No, it's the benevolent slave owners. And this new system that they're birthing, it's working exactly how they've wanted since, I don't know. I would credit Reagan, but you could probably go all the way back to slavery and trying to get that back. Mississippi, the southern states, they never recovered. I mean, this happened in Georgia, right? Blooming Onion. They never recovered from slavery being abolished. So slavery 2.0, you create a permanent underclass of people who can't complain, people that can't organize, people that can't even demand better wages or working conditions, people that can't even vote to change the system. You see how perfect this is for them? Lock them away. This isn't the Biden administration anymore. This is the blueprint. And then through Fox News, actually more in today's environment, these right-wing influencers, old gums here, old townhouse mouth, through Charlie Kirk, through Facebook, through this guy posting on Facebook. I hadn't been on Facebook for a year. I went on there, and I was on there, an hour, and it made me want to, I can't say what I wanted to do, but it made me want to leave this earth just being there for an hour. But you put them on there and you bombard them with this propaganda to convince them that every one of these powerless, terrified people that walked for 3 months just to get here, just for the chance to stay here, you make them the bad guys. You tell them they're ruining everything. And it's working. All the chuds think these people are somehow robbing them of their American dream as they stuff another Big Mac in their mouth. You know what I mean? When in all actuality, these are the people being robbed of the American dream. And by slowly boiling this frog that is the chud's mind, by prepping them, cutting the line down racial lines. Cutting down racial lines is the easiest thing for the morons to comprehend. They can't comprehend that it's actually a class war. So you're prepping them for this.
Yeah. Get them foreign frogs out of here. This pot is for REAL American frogs only.
There's Peter Thiel coming in to pour a little salt on your head, Chud. Because that white middle to lower class, you know, it's going to be heading your way soon as they're done with the immigrants, as soon as they're done across those lines. It's exactly what LBJ was talking about 65 years ago. In the year 2025, Chuds are arguing on Facebook about who freed the slaves 160 years ago, while Republican tech billionaires are literally bringing back slavery with just a software update. The con laid out here is beautiful in its simplicity. Convince working class whites that their real enemy is the guy picking strawberries for $3 an hour. Hell, if he's, in the future, it'll be 25 cents an hour. And if he complains, they'll send him to El Salvador. Instead of complaining about the guy who owns the strawberry farm, instead of the guy who just bought his third yacht off that strawberry farm, get them so fired up. Keep them fired up. That's all I saw on my hour on Facebook after a year. Keep them fired up about this invasion. About the replacement. Remember how Tucker Carlson planted that old seed in their head? A seed from Germany, 1940. And they won't even know that they too are being replaced. They're being replaced by algorithms. They're being replaced by automation. And they're being replaced by a new feudal system where their worth is measured by how much abuse you will take instead of money. And the punchline to all this, when ICE raids these farms, they're not protecting the workers, right? Have you seen any CEOs go to jail? Have you seen any CEOs be shipped to El Salvador so Kristi Noem can go down there and step in front of them? I don't think so. Like the knights in a feudal system are protecting the business model. And whether you got that stupid red hat on or you're just an undocumented farm worker, you're all just different flavors. You're all just a different flavor of serf to these people. Some of you just haven't realized that yet. But hey, at least your MAGA hat will match your chains. The Chud Report. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If it's your first time here, you like this video, make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. If you've been here a while, let's start supporting the channel a bit. Become a member. I think it's like $2.99, $3.99. We're gonna do a couple more lives. It seems like you guys like the lives. I hate the lives, but if you guys like them, I'll do them. So during a live, if you're a member, I see your comments highlighted. And guess what? That's all I got for you today. Make sure that you check out Aura. Aura giving me a sponsorship on episodes like this, it makes it possible. So make sure you check them out. 14 days free. See what's up. The Chud Report.
Yeah. Get them foreign frogs out of here. This pot is for REAL American frogs only.